U.S. Tax Court Judge Elizabeth Parris recently sat down with our friend Roger McEowen to discuss client representation in tax matters and the process of handling a tax case all the way through court. Kansas Farm Bureau Professor of Agricultural Law and Taxation at the Washburn University School of Law, Roger McEowen, joins us now for a recap. Thanks so much for joining us, Roger. And what a privilege to sit down with Judge Parris. Why was she at Washburn Law School?
Well, good morning, Christina. She was at Washburn at my request. Judge Parris and I, about 25 years ago, cut our teeth together before she was with the tax court and before she went to D.C. and became a staff attorney for the Senate Finance Committee. She was out in Colorado when I was in private practice in Nebraska, and we worked together on some things. So she's been a dear friend for a long time, and it was good to see her again.
Wowee. Now, I understand that Judge Parris made the point that many areas of tax law are not black and white. In fact, they are different shades of gray. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, yeah. The tax code is so complex, and the regulations just foster that complexity. And she made that point to the students in two different classes. She had 5 sessions through the day at the law school, 2 public sessions, 2 in-class visits with students, and then a private luncheon. And she made this point over and over, and that the cases she sees are very heavily fact-dependent because of that complexity in the code. And on top of that, the IRS will frequently take a position on an issue that's questionable or is contrary to existing case law. And that's a very frustrating aspect of tax practice. And that's very frustrating for taxpayers, too. Nobody wants to have correspondence from the IRS. And, of course, a goal of practitioners as well as the tax court is to get things sorted out the best they can based on the facts.
Yeah, that's important. Now, the IRS has put in place a new procedure that eliminates the possibility of a face-to-face meeting with an IRS appeals officer. Why is that happening?
Well, that's a tough thing. My guess is it's probably because of budgetary issues within the IRS. When I was in full-time practice, my experience with the IRS appeals office out of Omaha at that time was good. You actually got to sit down with a person that was well-versed in tax law and had lots of experience in handling complicated tax matters, even ag tax matters. But unfortunately, that possibility doesn't exist anymore. You can't get a face-to-face meeting. You don't have that right. Instead, what happens is you're left with dealing with what's called an appeals tax specialist in the IRS. And from conversations I've had with tax practitioners, what I hear is that those persons lack the training and experience of those that I dealt with years ago in Omaha.
Wow. Well, I'm really interested in reading your thoughts. Kansas Farm Bureau Professor of Agricultural Law and Taxation at the Washburn University School of Law, Roger McEowen, we appreciate you joining us, and I can't wait to read more about what Judge Parris had to say.